What's up, groove tubers? I think that's what I'm gonna call you guys. I love the word groovy. It's been one of my favorite words. I actually have it tattooed on my ass. Fun fact. But yeah. Anyway, what's up, groove tubers? So I wanted to hop on today and make a story time because I love story times. I was voted for my senior superlative as best storyteller in high school, so I was like, I gotta use that to my advantage. So that's what we're doing. And I was thinking through my brain, I'm like, okay, I got a lot of stories, but which one would be the perfect first story time for this channel? And I was like, I know what it is. How mushrooms changed my life completely. I would not be sitting here if I had not done mushrooms when I was 16. I just wouldn't be. I think my life would have been on a completely different path and trajectory. And that just shows like the sequence of events that are destined to happen that bring you to the exact point that we're here within the space of now. And that trip that I did when I was 16 in my friend's basement ultimately catapulted me to this moment here of talking to you about that experience close to 10 years ago. Oh, I get 16. Well, I'm 24 now. Okay, like 8 years ago. Close to 10. I was right. But yeah, amazing how the universe works, am I right? So let's go into how mushrooms changed my life. So yeah, the first time I ever, and we're talking like the special kind of mushroom, a psilocybin if you would say. The first experience that I ever had was when I was 16. I won't get into this section of the story of why I did it because that's a whole other thing within itself. We're just gonna bring you to the point where I took the mushrooms. Basically, I'll do a little preface synopsis of it. Was like I had experienced some traumatic events when I was younger, and I was wanting to do some soul searching afterwards, and I did a bunch of research on how mushrooms can help reprogram the brain, and I was like, I want to find healing and closure through a psychedelic adventure. And I want to see the universe and understand why everything that happened to me happened so that I can find some sort of like peace within it all. I was really searching for peace. I was in a very unpeaceful place at that point in my life, and I just was kind of grasping for something beyond myself to bring clarity to the situation that had happened. That's what I've said for that situation. And so I done a bunch of research. Literally my 16-year-old self was like on the computer, like looking up YouTube fucking university, like how to prepare for your first psychedelic journey. What will I experience on my first mushroom experience? Shout out to Psych Substances if he ever sees this video, and your mate Tom. Y'all help my 16-year-old self like no other. Like I was on y'all's YouTube channels ingesting everything y'all had to say. I was like, okay, tip, take that down. Okay. Yeah, no, they helped me a lot. Very grateful for those two YouTube channels. I wonder if they're still, I haven't even tried looking them up in so long. I wonder if they're still creating content. Probably. But, oh, and Dakota Want, is that was his Dakota something? Another one. There was many that I was like shuffling through. Anyway, this story's gonna be long, so like buckle up, grab a snack, chow down some popcorn and listen. So 6-year-old me preparing for my first mushroom journey. And first of all, at that ripe age, I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna get any. Where am I gonna find mushrooms? And let me just talk about quick little manifestation. I was doing that shit when I was 16. Literally, I'm like planning this trip. Like, I don't know where I'm gonna get them. A week later, my homie hits me up. He's like, hey, I remember you were talking about how you know you want to do this experience, and I have mushrooms. And I'm like, praise my angels, I love you so much. I was like, yes. I was like, bring them over. I'll give you as much. Like, I'll pay you whatever you need. I don't even think I paid him, but he brought me them. Granted, it was not a lot. I think I want to say it was like a little over 2 grams, and I was going to split it with a friend. So it was going to be a low dose. I wasn't trying to be like, you know, heroic dosing my first time. I wanted to start out like slow and just prepared for what was going to unfold. And I wasn't trying to have like a completely obliterated ego experience. So yeah, I thought, like, from what I watched from Psych Substances and You're My Tom, I was like, okay, 1 gram is probably a great way to start. Or I think we took like 1.5 each, something around that. It was something around that. It was like a little over 1 gram. So this is kind of getting into my first trip experience, but whatever. It's gonna whole unfold how it's meant to unfold. So I hit up my homie. Shout out to my best friend in high school, Posey LeBombard. That's the homie. I don't usually name drop, but I'm gonna name drop that bitch because I don't give a fuck. So hit up Posey. I'm like, girl, I got them. Like, we gotta do this. And she was like, okay, I guess so. I was really excited. I think I was the most excited about it out of all my friends. Granted, after I did this with Posey, everyone in my high school kind of like started getting into it. So I feel like I have this like weird ego thing that I was like the pioneer of it all, but some would maybe disagree. But I don't know. I tripped a lot of my friends for the first time. So anyway, that's just like my ego being like, yeah, I started that trend. No, I'm just fucking with you. Anyway, back to the freaking story. So yeah, get the mushrooms, go back to her house, ultimately eat them in her basement. Granted, her basement is like kind of redone. It's still a motherfucking basement, but that's where we took them. And let me tell you, 16-year-old me had an otherworldly experience off of 1.5 grams of mushroom. Like, I don't even know. I had an extremely intense, visceral experience of meeting 5 people in my life who had passed away and came to me as like guiding angels, and like that was a huge part of the reason why I started the journey anyway. And to feel in that sort of capacity of like, it wasn't as if I was imagining these angels in my life, you know? It's like they were there. The presence of those people who passed were in the room with me. So, like, I could hear them talking. I could feel their energy around me, like goosebumps rising over my whole body. Like, they were there. And the space that I had felt for so long from that like trauma of being separated from those people and having them brought back in that moment was beyond my own comprehension. And it was in that moment that I was like, these are very special, and these are tools, and they have a lot to show us about this life experience that we are in. And they're not something that to be messed around and to played with. Like, I kind of was like, throughout my first trip experiences, I was like, no, like, this is medicine. Yes, I was giggling and laughing a lot, and of course there was lots of parts of it where I was like off my ass, as one does with that kind of experience. Like, it's a very inner child, soulful healing journey of like just rediscovering the layers of who you are and bringing you down and ripping them out to your core of just an innocent child. a lot of times, like, people on psychedelics say, I feel like I was a kid again. And it's because it rips away, like, all these, basically what mushrooms have the ability to do. I'm going to go into that before I continue my story. For those who are watching who don't know, it's as our brains get older, our neuron pathways start to get fixed. They start to harden. As when we were younger, our neuron pathways are a lot more malleable. So that's how we develop patterns, behavioral functions from a little kid. From when we are younger, we develop patterns in our brain that as we get older, they solidify. So they become ingrained. So, you know, toxic behaviors that we keep repeating from a younger state of consciousness are now locked into our brains as programs that ultimately we can't, it's harder to change our mind about them because our brains aren't as flexible as when they were younger. So what mushrooms do is they come on in, they get your brain all flexible and like agility ass. They create a more malleable space for your brain to then reroute, make new neuron pathways, and create new connections in the brain to reroute old patterns of behavior. Fascinating. I am such a believer that mushrooms are going to heal the freaking planet, not just psychedelics, but mushrooms in general. It's boring outside, but that's great. So, anyway, I don't even know where I left off my story. Okay, so I realized that these mushrooms, it's medicine. And I realized that from a really young age. And I wanted to, after my first trip, I was like, I felt this connection to the spirit of the mushroom, that I was meant to spread awareness about it in a healthy dynamic, educate people, which I'm doing now and trying to do and still working on throughout my path, and experiment more, develop a dynamic relationship with them, to use them for my own personal healing, but also spread awareness for other people to use upon their journeys. And so from that experience, from when I was 16, it opened me up into the realm, first of all, of psychedelic visionary art. This up there is some of my art on the wall. And so is that one right there. Mushrooms blasted open because the visuals that I was having on oh my god. I am a very, like, we all, I feel like, have different ways that we connect with the universe and the divine. Some people are auditory, they have a strong auditory sense, so they hear messages. Close the pattern. Some people visually see things. So, like, my connection to source comes very much through a visual sense. Some people feel like, it's all different ways. I have a very deep feeling sense too. My auditory is not as strong as my visionary connection, but the way that I receive messages from the universe is definitely highly through my third eye and the visuals that I see on these types of experiences. And so after taking the mushrooms, I was seeing things that I haven't seen before. I was seeing the lattice work of the universe that connected us all together through these like mandala geometries that are flying through time and space, that are weaving through each human being. And I was fascinated and I was super pulled in, and I was like, this reminds me of the things that I would see as a child going to sleep at night that I just pushed under the rug throughout my whole life, and now they're brought back to me, and I'm like, whoa, where did this all come from? And so I wanted to draw it, I wanted to paint it, and I started looking up other visionary artists, and I found Alex Gray, and I was like, oh my god, this guy's amazing. He's painting the stuff that I'm seeing on these psychedelic journeys. And I was like, I want to do this. And, you know, it started out as any artist starts out. Like, I was always into art, but now I felt like I had found the style, what I was interested in actually making art about. Because before I was doing, like, I was copying landscapes, you know, painting animals, and I'm like, this isn't filling me up. This isn't the art that I want to create. And I didn't know the art that I wanted to create. Boom, psychedelics showed me right away. And I was like, oh, no, this is the art I want to create. I want to bring the unseen into the seen and merge the two worlds together. Create a bridge. That's what psychedelic visionary artists do. They're a bridge of consciousness. They bring the universe to the 3D and they morph them together into a creation that you can visually observe through the naked eye without needing to be in an altered state of consciousness. But you get to see what being in an altered state of consciousness is sort of kind of like, which I think is fascinating. And it's starting to really rain, so I'm going to come closer to the camera so you can hear me. And I hope you can still hear me. So, we're already 16 minutes in. Not too bad actually. So, there's still more to the story though. So, fast forward, I'm in college and I have the opportunity to, because ever since I took the mushrooms, it was like a spiritual awakening for me. And I know, say those words lightly, because we have, you know, people throw that around very loosely. But that was really the first spiritual shift that I experienced in this lifetime, which really rerouted me back onto this path that I'm on currently. And without that experience, like I said, the trajectory of my life would have probably gone in a different way. I was super into sports in high school. I was really competitive. I still live that kind of lifestyle, but I also have this other very spiritual, artistic life that I'm living out simultaneously as my adventurous side. And I'm very grateful I have a balance of both. But, okay, so, yeah, so fast forward, I'm in college. And I'm majoring in art and philosophy because, well, what do you know? I love to talk about the universe and I love to paint about it as well. And so those heavily influenced my college majors, because after that experience I had, I was like, this is what life's about. I want to talk about the universe with people. I want to philosophize, I don't know if that's a word, but I'm gonna just pretend it is, about the universe and talk about different theories of life. That's what I find interesting. And so I was majoring in art and philosophy, and then I started taking energy healing classes, because mushrooms really opened me up to the ethereal realm of energy, and basically using different healing modalities along with mushrooms, such as healing touch, Reiki, but mainly the quantum healing. Mainly the type of healing that I was learning at university was healing touch. So not necessarily Reiki, very similar. It's all using a universal life force energy. Connecting to one's heart line, which is the line of light that connects you to the universe and the earth simultaneously. It runs through the whole body. It's like a pillar of consciousness and golden light. And basically channeling through that space and using it to be a source and a portal for just loving, healing energy to be brought through. I feel like we overcomplicate a lot of spiritual practices when really the simplest way to put it is like, I am a conduit of love and divine. That's all. I'm just a conduit of love, and I'm going to send you some unconditional motherfucking love, and it's going to help you heal, because love is, in my mind, just the highest frequency of being, an unconditional loving space. Granted, in, you know, on the 3D plane, a lot of love comes with conditions because we are conditional human beings. So it is hard to be in a state of unconditional love in this plane. But the plane that we come from is this unconditional source. And so we channel from that, we bring that here, and we use it to heal. super simply explained, okay? Because we like to throw in all these like mumbo jumbo big words, kundalini motherfucker shit, you know? And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, enough with the hibbity bop boppity bop. It's all just love, and that's what we are helping each other find and reconnect to. And you can try to find, you know, get your ego into it and be like, I know all these spiritual terms, and it's like, buddy, if you're not practicing it, it don't mean you know it. I have a lot of, I'm gonna probably get a friend on this channel, and we're gonna talk about, you know, the problems of spirituality, because like, yes, I'm a love light being, but I also honor the darkness full-heartedly. So I understand it takes two to tango. That's all I'm gonna say for now. We'll get into that later. Okay, so I'm in college. I'm studying healing touch. I'm having an incredible experience, and understanding, even within those moments, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I had that experience when I was 16, or I don't think I would be practicing all the stuff that I'm doing now. And at that point in my life, I had not started my art business. I had been taking art classes in college, and I definitely had a different style compared to a lot of other kids who I was studying with. Like, you would walk in and you would be like, mine was the one with the rainbows and the weird shit on it, and everyone else is doing their own thing. Totally fun. I definitely was like in my own zone for a lot of my, and I still am for a lot of my life. So fast forward, COVID happens, and at that point in my life, I was talking to my parents a lot, because at that point, like, I had talked to them about the trip experiences that I had, and how I wanted somehow to use mushrooms in my practice eventually to, like, I felt like I was meant to work with them in some shape or form. And my parents were like, okay, great, like, stay in school. What? Both my parents very supportive of psychedelic use, but they're like, you're not gonna just go devote your life to that. And I was like, well, why not? Why not? And I haven't yet, but it's something that I do want to, but it's definitely been this branch of inspiration throughout everything that I have been doing thus far. And I definitely want to dive more into it in the future. So yes, I listened to them partially. I was like, okay, I'm not going to start that now. I still have, and I'm glad I didn't, because I still had and still have more integrational work that I want to do with the medicine before I start offering spaces and containers to be held within the use of psilocybin. But in the future. Anyway, so COVID happens. School goes online. I'm over it. I'm like, I am not paying for an online degree. Like, absolutely not. And so at that point, I was like, what's something that I can do that I'm super passionate about in this moment and roll with it? And holistic health, that's what it was. Mushrooms, like I said, had gotten me on this wave of just like alternative healing. And so I was at this music festival that summer selling some of my jewelry, and I met a woman who said that I should try out this school in Hawaii. And I was like, Hawaii, how the hell am I going to get out of all the way out here? I've been living out here for 4 years now. I made it. And somehow after she said it, though, I couldn't get it off of my mind. It was like, I felt this magnetic pull there so strongly that I was like, okay, I guess I need to go. And afterwards, I was getting like a lot of these visuals from like different spirit guides of mine when I would meditate. And they would tell me, they're like, you need to, like, I had this one message in particular after I had gotten the idea about it, but kind of forgot about it, where I was like, yes. Like, my friend told me it a while ago, and I didn't make the plans to actually do it until like far in the future. And yeah, I had this one download. I was meditating, and I had these beings come to me, and they're like, you need to go to Hawaii You have to. It's part of your path. And you need to go and you need to channel whatever you see. All the beings, you need to channel them. When you get there, you're going to have an immense download of different energies. And you have to paint. You have to draw them. That is part of the path. You need to do that. And I was like, okay. And so then I started really actually like planning. After that, I was like, yeah, okay, I guess I need to like these beings want me to go out here. And I know that sounds woo, I know that sounds weird. And for some of you that may not resonate, there's also a lot of dichotomy and backlash around non-natives moving to the island, which I may do a video about eventually, because it has been, you know, it's been a moral compass that I've had to navigate within my body of taking up space on a land that ultimately has been colonized by people who sometimes look like me. So, yeah, that's something that I've had to just morally look at and understand. And ultimately what I've done to help bridge that is like I bring my heart to the land. I bring my heart to the people of the land, and I've connected with natives. I've connected with people who have been born and raised out here, and I've given them my heart, and they've given me their hearts. And so it's like when you come to a space that you know has had trauma from the ownership of whose land it is, and I know this may sound fluffy what I'm saying, or it's like, just understand your place. And I feel like that's something that I've had to really understand, where's my place within this, and not to overstep. I don't want to ever overstep when I'm out here. It's like you always give the right of way to the people who are from here. And so it's like I want to come here with a space of deep respect, a deep understanding that I am taking up space on land that is not mine, and to give as much love as I possibly can to the people who are from here at any moment that I can, in any shape or capacity that I'm able to, whether that's like going to a 7-Eleven and seeing a homeless guy outside and being like, hey brother, you want some, like, I go and I'll buy you anything you want from the store, I'll bring that back, and I'll, and so I do that as much as I can. Little things that can help, and educating yourself as well. So anyway, that just went into another section, but I'm passionate about that, and just like being respectful of the space that you take up. And I think a lot of people come out here with not a lot of respect, a lot of entitlement, and expect to be treated in a certain way, and you just ain't gonna be met there, okay? So yeah, so I had this download, to come out to Hawaii, and I followed it, and I was like, okay, here we go. I came out to massage and holistic health school out here, and I studied that for a year, and I practice massage now and holistic health. And throughout my whole journey here is when I actually, like, my art business began. It was born. The visuals I was starting to see, the downloads that were happening were getting a lot more intense for me. And my creativity was enhanced and invoked in a way that I was like, I couldn't stop creating. Like, the whole time that I've been out here, people have even said to me, like, you are a creative faucet that just goes and it's always on. And I don't know how you do it. And I don't know how I do it either. But there's something about the way that my creativity has fused with the land that I didn't receive when I was in Vermont. Like, I would, Vermont, yes, that was where I'm from originally. Like, my creative journey started there, but something happened, something switched once I got to Hawaii, that it was just propelled in this direction that is unexplainable to me. And the growth that I've done within the 2 years of starting this business out here, to me, I look back, and my friends even said, they're like, your art has like blown up in like 2 years. Like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. Oh God. And I'm excited to see where it wants to go. And so that has been a huge, my God, I'm like sneezing. A huge gift that mushrooms have brought me is the ability to channel this type of art that I probably wouldn't be channeling without them. And art is a huge like purpose that I feel of existing on this planet, is to, like I said, be a bridge for the unseen to the seen. And through my art, I feel like I'm able to do that. And I've been doing the farmers markets at Kaka'ako for about close to 2 years now. I mean, I did a video on that. And the cool thing about being in Hawaii is that it's a huge tourist destination. And the Kaka'ako farmers market especially reaches a lot of people. And I'm so deeply grateful that I've been able to be a part of it for so long, and that I have people come over from all around the globe, admire the work that I create. Sometimes we'll buy it and bring it back with them, so I don't know where some of my art is scattered about the universe, which is incredible. But I wouldn't have been able to have it spread around if it wasn't for being in a place like this, where people from all over come and witness. And even before I was doing the Kaka'ako farmers market, I was selling my art and my jewelry on the side of the road in Waikiki on a tapestry for like a year. That was my full-time job. Was because I had lost, I think I talked about that in my redirection video, but yeah, I'd lost my other job. And I was like, I need some way to make money. And so I was like, damn, I'm gonna just be a little peddler, and I'm gonna bring my tapestry down, and I'm just gonna sell on the side of the road in Waikiki. And I befriended a bunch of the homeless population down there, and I would literally just hang out with all of them. One of the uncles gifted me a wagon. Like, this guy who does not have, he gave me a wagon to put my suitcase in as I'd walk the strip of the boardwalk. He was like, sister, you need a wagon. You can't be carrying your suitcase out. He gave me a wagon. Granted, it was full of blankets that smelled like piss, but I didn't even care. I was like, this is the sweetest gift. And I would go after like my days of selling in Waikiki, and I'd go to the ABC store and I'd buy them all like musubis and drinks, and we'd all hang out. So when people would walk by on this trip, it would be like me, and like, oh my God, it was an incredible experience, and I'm so glad that I had that. And blessings to all those people, because I go down to Waikiki now, and it's sad because I haven't seen the homeless population that was there in a while, because I haven't gone down and sold my jewelry over there and my art. And I think they may have gotten kicked out of the strip, but they were genuinely, it's sad, and I will not get into that part. You know, I'll slightly dive into it, because this is about how mushroom changed my life, and we're talking about the sadness of the homeless issue in Oahu, which it is a really big problem. But it's like, I think people have so much preconceived notions around like people talk, oh, the chronics in Waikiki, oh, the crackheads in Waikiki, oh, it's so disgusting. It's like, no, like, those people are genuinely so nice. I'm gonna just say it real quick. If you open up yourself, you will see, like, yes, they are dealing with a lot of shit, and it's heavy, and it's sad as fuck that they have to deal with that, but their hearts are really pure. And that's something that I learned through that experience, was like, I was befriending these people. They would get excited to see me when I'd be wheeling down my wagon going into Waikiki. They'd be like, oh, Sophia! And I'm like, oh my God. And yes, their struggles were, I can't imagine. And it's like, I know that I can't help that much in a sort of capacity, but I can be there as a space of giving love and buying them snacks or food, when, you know, doing the things that you can. It's like, we can't carry the world on our shoulders, but we can do little acts of kindness to help everyone every day. And that's a huge moral compass that I live by and will continue to live by. Anyway, maybe we'll talk more about that in another video. So, because we're already 34 minutes into this. And so yeah, so from going to Waikiki, selling on the strip, to now doing farmers markets, it's like art and channeling visionary art is a huge part of my path, and I wouldn't be on that without the hands of mushrooms. So, gracias, mushrooms. You have bestowed so much wisdom into my path and are allowing me to do what I love to do and providing so much inspiration, because they provide immense inspiration for me. All the things that I channel all come from visuals that I've seen in altered states of consciousness that I bring back here and I put onto paper, or I put onto a canvas. And I'm so grateful for that. And in terms of the profession that I do, massage therapy, holistic health, it's like they also opened me up to the doors of wanting to heal the body in a more natural way. So, massage therapy, and like those are all natural healing modalities that incorporate the body to reprogram and heal ourselves. And that's kind of this story. That's about it. I think we've reached a concluding point of it. But yeah, if it wasn't for that day when I was 16, when I took those mushrooms, I don't think I would be sitting here right now in Hawaii, selling my art, doing massage, and I wouldn't have developed, or I wouldn't have gotten on my path as soon as I would have otherwise. Because people ask me, like, how do you, like, you seem like you know what you want to do, you have it figured out. And I think back when they asked me that, and I'm like, it was the mushrooms when I was 16. Like, they really jump-started me to hop onto this path of what my soul was destined to come here to do. And I'm so grateful that I was able to have that experience. Yes, my path may jump around more, but it's like I've locked in on that, on this railroad track or whatever you want it. And I'm taking it for a while. And I know art is something I'm taking through my journey forever. Like, I already feel that. It has brought me so much healing that it's with me forever. Massage, who knows? We'll see if I burn out, but I will always practice massage, at least for my friends and family. I think it's a very special practice, and just the art of touch and creating comfortable spaces with people is amazing. But yeah, so thank you guys if you've listened and stayed this whole time. If you want to chat about mushrooms, or just holistic health, or have any questions about what I'm doing at all, or have questions about anything around these topics, please let me know, because I would love to chat with you, love to answer questions, love if you want to just share your own wisdom or your own experiences or how they changed your life. Use that in the comment section to share anything about this type of topic or any topic. I would love to hear about anyone's experience, because I find it very fascinating. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I will see where my day leads, because I left my keys in my friend's car who lives all the way on the west side of the island. So I'm stranded at my house right now and I have to get to work. But I was like, let's just make a YouTube video before and not think about that. Anyway, I love you guys. Many blessings. Bye-bye.